Hello, June 24th, day 13. I'm still on this bit of a roller coaster ride. Lots of kind of ups and downs. It's like I think the space is starting to come back and feeling that there's room to grow and that there's like all this like undefined possibility. Um, it's kind of like, where do I actually begin? I've been kind of reflecting on a number of different things, and one of the big things is like searching for my own voice. It's kind of this theme that like has been really it's like a theme that keeps coming back, it seems, especially like when making this. I think I talked about this a little bit yesterday, where mm, like my voice in my day-to-day interactions is like I'm much more comfortable with that. I can understand what that is, how to show up in space. And then this particular um, format, whether it's making these videos, figuring out what's the next kind of um, like how to put my course together, how to put that teaching together, um, is still kind of coming together. So it's like this limbo space. It's like looking at a blank page and trying to create something new and not knowing what the outcome is, and then like having to do it anyway. As part of this whole process, like there's so much new learning going on. Like I'm building this solo, more or less. Like I have support of my mentor, my coach. I have friends that I can bounce ideas off of, and all of that. Ultimately, though, I'm building, like actually doing the building myself. So right now, I haven't hired anybody to do any of the video editing, to make any of the social posts, and then like just figuring out the automation for um, like even sending out emails. Like I was reviewing my email list today, and I have like I think about 100 or so emails from over the last number of years where I've um, shared some of this information. People have gotten charts and things, and I never really emailed much. I think I created some emails and tried to send out a sequence at one point, and I just never stuck with it. I guess it was like looking for that validation again of like, hey, I'm going to send out an email and let's see if anybody responds. And I think at that time, nobody really did. I guess it's kind of positive that I don't recall seeing many people unsubscribe. So if I recall correctly, I probably wrote like a 5 email sequence, maybe like, let's call it like 2, 3 years ago. And I had sent that out with the intention of like, okay, I'm going to like get back into this and start promoting and talking about human design. And probably at that time, I was talking about like doing human design readings or maybe even hypnosis sessions, which is all still very much like fair game and on the table. And like I guess like up until just now, I would have thought of like I sent these things out and nobody responded. At the same time, I sent these emails out and people didn't like run away, which is kind of good. Um, I think that's a positive. It's like how do you hold both sides of the equation? So that's been kind of a thing. The other thing is just what was I reflecting on this morning? If I'll take a look at some of these notes, I guess it's like I feel like one thing that I'm beginning to realize is just like I feel like not a is it a fish out of water, or is that the right thing, or just kind of I've been having this feeling lately, maybe over the past week, of like just living outside the norm, living outside like the quote unquote usual experience. And there's many different things that I could probably point to it. Like it could be I could like make any story that I want for myself to explain that. So is it because that you know like when I discovered that I'm a projector in the human design system, that this energetic type, this aura, is one of the less common ones, about 20% of the population. And because the majority of the population, 70%, is a different type, then it's quote unquote normal or a natural experience to feel like I'm outside of things, which is fine. So, like, feeling an outsider in that way, and almost like feeling like as an outsider, there's like, I question the, um, I don't know if validity is the right word, but like the validity I'm going to use, the validity of the connection that I have with other people, and looking at how I like move through the world. I think that I've always kind of gravitated towards things that were a little bit off the beaten path. So if I go all the way back to my upbringing, even, like, I won't go all the way back, but there were times when, I mean, like, even from a media sense, that I'm recording something. Do you need something? um, had a little visit from Adrian. She was had a mask on. Um, and here I am talking about like trying to take my mask off. So, like, thinking about the, like, my previous experience, like even like the type of media I consume, it's kind of been not the standard media of like the environments that I live in. Like, I grew up in North America. I grew up in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and I was heavily into like Chinese media, Chinese pop, Chinese movies, like the Hong Kong cinema of the 80s and the 90s, like back in the heyday, all of those martial art films and the mm, martial art films, and what else is good? Like action films and stuff like that, the rom coms. And it was just like something that I really loved. Um, I feel like I talked about this before. And then, like, even from a music perspective, it's like listening to all these like music that's kind of like off. So I remember, like, even like at school dances in like grade school, like middle school, like between grades 6 to 8, being at um, dances, school dances, and just like not being familiar with the music. And I don't know that that much has changed over the last number of years. Like, it's probably been like almost 30 years now from then. And I still continue to gravitate towards things that are a little bit outside of the norm. Um, like, even instead of watching like TV and stuff, like all the like North American show, like Game of Thrones and whatever else is on TV, like the popular stuff, Breaking Bad and all of those things, I gravitated towards like anime and like Asian cinema, Asian content in some form. And I guess it's like my own doing. It's like I've put myself, I've othered myself, at least in this area. And I don't know, like I could have, or and maybe could I have? I could have like kind of gotten into like the usual, the standard, like the pop top 40 type of things. That I did have a little phase of that actually in middle school because I was like trying to like learn all of that, and I wonder if it was a function of just not having access to enough information, because with a one line needing, like, enjoying, wanting to have like that depth and like to understand. And it's weird, it's like it's music or it's movies. Like music, let's talk about, it's music, so then it's like I could have just consumed it, but it just felt like too surface level. Like it was just um like it felt like a lot of work to actually go in and deep dive into any one thing, because like if you're not from if you're not from the area, like if you remember watching content before streaming, it was literally like you'd have to watch a schedule. Like you'd look up something called a TV guide, and you'd find like the time that different shows were on, and you would have to wait, sit in front of the TV, and then watch it when it came on. And then like when like DVRs, like digital video recorders, I don't know what that stands for. I just made that up. But like DVRs, so that you could record it, you could record and then go back and watch it and all of those things. But even then, like the volume of content probably, if I think about it now, was not satisfactory to me, and maybe I wasn't interested in that enough, and I didn't wasn't exposed to that culture in my immediate environment, like the people that I hung out with, um, mm, weren't into those things, so it was maybe more difficult for me to get into it. I don't know, but now, like I still have that kind of experience of like I don't have that like the access to that same content. I didn't have that interest, and um, let's just say like I am interested and I want to know. And I think if I reflect on it now, I wish that I could have had mm, more information, like just really like deep dive into it. Like I went into like a, I was about to say K hole, but it wasn't a K hole. It was a K-pop hole, where I went deep into like BTS at the beginning of the pandemic, and then I started going like getting into like the different girl groups, New Jeans, Le Seraphim, RIP New Jeans, New Jeans, Le Seraphim, um, Illit, Espa, then Baby Monster. Like and like I'm still kind of in that. I really do enjoy that. Like maybe that's my natural state right now, but I do want to like learn more about different types of music. I have exposure to some of these things, and now with like it's like now with the internet, after like the internet's been around for like 30 years, but like really now the amount of like content and information there is so free flowing that I can dive into it the way that I want to, which is like to really immerse and not spend time like searching for it. Like it's cool to search, but like I'm at this point where I don't even know what to search for. So I feel like I'm at this point where I've spent so much time outside the regular kind of like outside the norm. And now I'd love to have that connection back into it to kind of like share in an experience. Mm, because that would be nice. Also makes me think of like kind of like my route through personal development. It was, there were books and things that I had read, and like what was good, like 4 Hour Body, I enjoyed. But even like beyond that, I kind of went my own way in terms of like looking for things to better understand myself. I didn't go to therapy. I didn't like go that route. Like therapy is great and it's a great mirror, I think. Like now that I understand all of that more, I think that it's really important to have the space to kind of be able to reflect and to have somebody reflect that back to you. All that is to say, like I went through this whole other route of like I think I started out as like with a belief in like atheism, and then as like I began to read more stuff and consider more things and have my like awareness expand, um, I came across like just some things that just kind of started to make more sense. Like I listened to um, things on like Buddhism and Taoism, and read about hermetics. Hermetics was actually really interesting. That kind of took me down another hole, not a K hole, but another like rabbit hole that really opened things up and like just were really interesting things to consider. And I was actually talking about this, like what is reality, right? Like what is reality? And I think that for me, there are two broad categories of reality, uh, and those are yes and no. And what you choose um, to experience is so it becomes your experience. So then, um, experiencing that, like I tend towards the yes side of things, which is like to be open and to listen and to accept the things that are put in front of me um, as like they exist rather than to deny. Actually, I should scratch that. That was probably more of a recent development. I think that there definitely was a time when I was like super stubborn, and like I just like felt like my answer had to be always the right one. So then, in a way, maybe there was a shift from a no of like, no, not that, it has to be my way, to a yes, you can have your way, and I can have my way as well. And if your way makes sense, or if it's something that I can jive with, then I can take it on as well. And if it's not something that I want to live by or live from, I can accept it that it's something that you can live from. Of course, like this then comes into the idea of belief, because I think like what when we're looking at the question of what is reality, we're really talking about like what do you believe to be true? And beliefs are mm, is manufactured the right word? Beliefs are created by our own experience and context. So when we have those beliefs that we hold, if you want to hold a belief, then there there needs to be, I guess, like support for it. Like I accept whatever you believe, and if it's something that you believe to be true, then it's open for questioning so that I can better understand where your belief comes from. And if through that questioning and that conversation your belief falls apart, then maybe you didn't fully understand why you believed what you believed. And that's kind of like the direction that I go sometimes, and maybe it's a little bit much for some people. Um, and this is kind of like this, is it existential? This kind of like, not crisis, but like this feeling of like being outside of the norm. It's like some of the things that I think are, that I believe are outside of the norm in the way that like it's not the general convention. The great thing though is with like certain, well, with social media in general, there's a lot more voices and a lot more opportunity to connect with people and have them share those. It's interesting to see similar lines of thinking to kind of confirm. And I want to be wary, and I want to be cognizant of the fact that like I'm not looking for a like what do you call it? Is it a sounding box? Sounding hole? Lots of holes. It's not. It's like echo chamber. It's not like I don't want to ever. I want to be aware of situations where I may find myself in an echo chamber, and to like pause for a minute and just open up and allow other things in. I think this is a really great kind of approach to things. And ultimately, it comes down to the question of like, what is your model of the world? Because we are all experiencing our worlds and lives through our own personal perceptions and experiences, which creates a certain context for our understanding, um, which is then tied to our own perspectives. It becomes our belief because that's the context that we are living in. So, understanding where that belief comes from, I think, is important. Being open about that is also really important. And it comes down to like, what is the model that you're operating off of? And I like the idea of thinking of things as models, because we don't perceive reality as it is. We create models of the world, and if we start looking at things as models rather than like absolute fact, then that allows us to begin to explore um, where that model lines up and where that model doesn't line up. So, one of the things that I learned that I really love is the idea that a test of a model is its usefulness. If a model is useful in the situation that you need it, then it becomes a good model for you. So when I'm looking through like and having conversations with people and like doing work of like the change work, right? Either through hypnosis, through like human design coaching, and then now through the Haizhen principle, Haizhen transformation. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to offer you a model that you can then test and experience for yourself. And if it's a good model, then it will work for you. And I believe that it's a model that can be encompassing and open and flexible enough to align with whatever experience that you might have. So I'm kind of floating around now. And I think like a lot of like lately kind of the self-reflection has been around that. I think the other part of it is that I feel like I'm going through like a cycle of grief of like finishing this MBA program, because like for 18 months I knew that I was going to be in a certain place and see a certain group of people that are all amazing and wonderful in their own special ways. And now I don't have that next anchor. Like it's finished and it's really great to be finished. And at the same time, I don't have that anchor of like the next time that this thing is going to happen. So it's a loss. And it's interesting because I was really looking forward to being finished. Like it's just 18 months of like cases and reading and work and all of this and time away from family and everything is a lot. And at the same time, I need to acknowledge that it's a loss, and just like going through all the feelings associated with that. So giving myself the space and the grace to, you know, feel through what I have to feel. And then like I looked at my human design chart as well, towards the like just, after I was doing some of this reflection, I'm like, why am I feeling all of these feels, right? And I was looking at my transits being like how you experience how the like planetary locations um, change your chart. Like they can activate and bring certain themes up to the surface. So for example, I'll just show you on the screen here like my human design chart. So the little like white things over there are like open energy centers, which means like they're undefined energies or open energies for me, that they're not usually mine to experience. But then like with transits, some of those things can become um, like activated and become defined. So like if I show you this chart now, right, you'll see that there are some like there's different colors on the chart, and the different colors just basically mean like different themes may emerge. And one of the things here is the emotional center is defined, and it has been defined for the last little while, and that probably, right, like from a model perspective, it's not to say that, oh, because like the planets are here and like I'm subject to the mercy, I'm at the mercy of the universe. um, Although some people might argue that we are, right? This is gets into a whole like determinism, free will kind of conversation, and whatever like experience that you want to have, and like however you want to describe that, fine. At the same time, it's like as a model of looking through, like, why am I feeling more feelings in the last little while than I generally do? And is it because of this solar plexus definition? Is it because that the defined channel here, that I have been experiencing is of the collective emotional wave, which is kind of like a gradual up to a peak and then a drop, like all the way down, and then back up and then down? Like this kind of actually describes the experience that I had over the last little while. So like when you have like a certain condition that becomes like a diagnosis, clarifying and just actually being like, oh, it's like really great that I have this diagnosis now, so that I can understand where my like the experience that I'm having. It's much the same way. It's like this explains to me, and it kind of like opens up. It's like, oh, like this kind of makes sense. And it's not to say that, oh, like I have to look out for when that happens because it's going to affect me in X, Y, or Z way. It's more that I'm having this experience and I'm experiencing this, and just knowing that gives some like comfort and acceptance. It's just to accept things the way that they are. So that's kind of like been my experience now. So I definitely have like these ups and then these downs now. And I think that's going to continue for a little while, which is absolutely fine. But knowing all of this, knowing like having this awareness allows me to actually do something about it and to make a decision about what I want to do. And it's not so much that I need to, like, I don't want to move away from any of this. It's like, oh, like I'm experiencing this, I can accept it. When I can accept it, then I can make decisions based on it. It's like, I want to just feel through this right now. And that's what I'm going to do. So there's so much going on with, or there's so much to do, like right now, like most recently, something that's been really helpful that I found success with is um, making these. I've been super consistent, like daily for 13 days. It's like probably the most consistent I've been, which is nice. And I am enjoying these times. I'm actually getting a lot out of them because of this reflection time. There's also mm, like social media posts and things like that. Like I've been posting regularly and getting some good feedback on it. And some of them, like maybe they don't even land. And I'm happy to say that I don't care. um, because like it's like putting in reps, right? It's almost like doing one push up and saying like, why don't I have like well-defined pecs? So I'm moving through that. So now I'm like moving into some new things, and it's becoming like a new sort of discomfort, or like uncomfort, discomfort, which is like setting up email sequences and like I've done them before, but I don't remember exactly what I did, and like the things change. So I'm in this space of like learning something new again, which is nice. Learning is nice. Um, but learning something like this, it feels like especially with technology, like I love playing with new technologies and things like that. And at the same time, I can understand how some people can be anxious about it, because it's like, oh no, like what am I going to do if like this thing doesn't work out exactly the right way, because I don't know exactly how it works right now. So it's like approaching it with some a sense of play, of like, I'm just gonna go and do this and see what happens. Like, what's the worst that can happen? Like, the email doesn't go out. I make a typo. It's like it's not the end of the world. And the thing is, if I don't do it, like this is that theme again. Like I was just preparing some social media posts based on like the first log that I had made, and I think, what did it say? It said something like, if I don't do it now, then I'll never have done it, or something like that. If I don't record now, I'll never get comfortable with it. And it's the same thing here. If I don't do this thing, if I don't make these emails, if I don't send the first one, then I will never send the first one. It's like a tautology. It's like this, like you can't be wrong, because it's like an absolutely true statement. And at the same time, it doesn't really say anything, or it says a lot, because if I don't do it, it'll never get done, which is kind of silly, right? So, like, if you are thinking of doing something, you have something that you want to do, and you just keep thinking about it, and like thinking of all the reasons why it's not the right time to do it. Um, a lot of times, maybe the reason not to do things is because of like perfectionism, and like, it's not going to come out the way that I think it is, and I'm just never going to get started. Then, like, if it's really that important to you that you can't stop thinking about it, then just do something, like, literally do something. Reminds me of The Ultimate Fighter, when Quinton Rampage Jackson was one of the coaches, and when his fighter was fighting, he was yelling from the corner, "Do something, do something," and it's like very difficult in that situation, probably just to like quote unquote do something, because it's like a lot. And at the same time, it's like, actually, yeah, like literally just do something, like start somewhere. Take a chance. Take a chance. Let's stop it there.